Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fringe Coverage. This podcast profiles the story, swings, and stars of the LPGA Tour. And whether you're new to women's golf or a longtime fan, hopefully this podcast helps you develop your own rooting interests in women's professional golf. We are back for a jam-packed episode today, Tom. No interviews today. For those of you wondering what's going on, we got a lot to cover. Tom and I spent some time together last week watching basketball, watching golf, having some beers. Crazy tournament to recap. Really fun course, bit of a pillow fight down the stretch, but tons going on. And to help me recap all of it, my boy Tom, what's going on, buddy?
Marc, long time no see. I got to see you in person Thursday and Friday. We got to watch basketball. We watched golf together. I don't think you and I have done that in months, so it was nice to have somebody out there doing that with. Yeah,
we played some golf. Yeah,
we don't need to bore the fans.
Oh no, let's get into it, Tom. I don't get to do this very often. I actually played some decent golf. Again, for the listener's sake, we take off a couple days every year to watch March Madness. Been doing it for almost 2 decades now, and went out to the golf course, played a short round so we could watch some games. And the four of us was the tightest cluster I think we've ever had in terms of we were not spread apart. One triple bogey here or there was really the difference between everybody. But fun day out on the links, and I finally clipped you for the first time I think in a few years.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I mean, my very first shot was I topped a ball and it went straight into a lake. And I don't even think it hit water first. It hit like a swan
ramp
or something first. Yeah, it was bad. And, things just kind of went off the rails from there. But, I mean, 15 over. I should probably win with a 15 over. But no, Marc, you were...
Now we got to have higher expectations for ourselves than that, man.
I know.
On any individual hole, we're good enough to know we can play better. We just got to string it together for longer stretches. But yeah, played some fun golf. Had a few beers on the course. I can't remember the last time that happened. And we definitely saw it start to impact me on a Pink Whitney, which I'd never even heard of. Yeah, by the end of the 18 holes, I think my golf was definitely being impacted, positively or negatively. Is probably up for debate. But fun day out there. But so now I am now the defending champ the next time we go out and play. So I'm going to hold that over you. Maybe we don't play together for a while, so I can hold that title just for a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Keep bragging, because I'm going to brag it a little bit. So get it all.
Yeah. You got some opportunities to brag today. We also watched March Madness. Always fun. We didn't get to watch our teams together this year. I feel like usually there's a Michigan game or a UCLA game. Didn't get to watch those. My boys lost in the second round. Yours march on. But that is not what we are here. We are here to recap the Fortinet Founders Cup in Menlo Park. First time that tournament has been in Menlo Park. Again, we were in Florida last year. The headline is Hyo Joo Kim holds on for dear life for the win. We'll get into all the details, but she did start the day with a 5-shot lead, and let's just say she needed every single one of those shots by the end of it. But Tom, I know you got to watch a decent amount of coverage over the course of the 4 days. Just general reactions to what you got to see.
Yeah, you and I got to watch together on Friday for an hour or so, and then I got to watch the entire round on Sunday, which I don't remember the last time I was able to do that. You and I were texting a little bit, and then I kind of put my phone away and just kind of enjoyed the broadcast. It got interrupted, unfortunately, by the senior PGA Tour. They went into a playoff, which was anticlimactic, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of fun to see that. And then I go, wait, I'm not here to watch any of this. I'd prefer if we just went back to the LPGA. And I felt like it cut in right at the beginning of the broadcast, which was also kind of a bummer.
Are you ready for me to do it now?
But so it was really fun to sit down and actually watch some golf. Sure, Marc, let's go.
Okay, I actually want to get more of your impressions of the broadcast, but let's hit this dead on. My wife was sitting next to me when this happened. So to clarify, the TV window for the final round of the LPGA tournament was due to start at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Golf Channel. Leading into that broadcast was the live footage of the men's senior tour, the Champions Tour on the PGA Tour, which went to a playoff between Padraig Harrington and Stephen Elker. Because they were already on Golf Channel and it went to a playoff, by contract, I believe, they get first right to stay on. And so as soon as you and I tune in at 3:00 to watch the final round of the women's tournament, which is already on the back nine, by the way, for the leaders. It's not like we have the whole round ahead of us. We only have the back nine in this limited window that Golf Channel is giving them. We tune in to see Padraig Harrington and Stephen Alker getting ready to hit shots, showing recaps. I'll get into the why and the contractual side of this in a second. But what the hell are we doing? This is, no one cares about the men's senior circuit. Nobody. They're not playing for a lot of money. The sponsor is Cologuard because they have a bunch of colon problems because they're old ass men that no one cares about. This is the final round of the Fortinet Founders Cup, one of the larger events of the year honoring the founders of the LPGA. It's a limited broadcast window. And as my wife said, I asked my wife, are you as mad as I am? And my wife looked at me and said, I'm kind of used just to old white men getting what they want. And it was such a, she said it as a throwaway comment, but man, it was just so on the nose of, I could not have been more angry. Obviously, we started this because we want the LPGA to get exposure. This was the first tournament to benefit from the enhanced broadcast coverage, for every round is live. And yes, it is not that simple. There was a tournament on, and Cologuard, their title sponsor, has to get their run. And you can imagine they'd be real pissed if their playoff doesn't get shown, right? Like, you can understand where the contractual piece of this happens. But here's where I get especially teed off on this one. During the lead up, I don't know if you saw, but they showed some split screen of the senior tour and the women's event as they started. And then they went away from it and went full screen to the men when there were no shots being hit. There were like long walks between, again, no one else is out on the course. It's a 2-man playoff. And Nelly Korda's on the 10th green trying to make a run against Hyo Joo, who at this point has blown her entire 5-shot lead. Who is lining up to watch Stephen Alker play Padraig Harrington in anything? Like, I would love to see the broadcast numbers and someone make a business case for why these men, who 30 years ago were really good at golf, should be able to trump the women's coverage at a time where we're trying to expose them more, and instead they have to take a backseat to this. It's been a while since I've been that mad, and my wife sat and watched it, and I think she was watching me saying like welcome to the club, kid. I seriously felt that's what it looked. My wife was thinking of, yeah, this is all women's and men's sports. This is just the most recent example, and she's probably right. But I was so angry, and it's a tough look for the LPGA, who again just rolled out all these broadcast enhancements and get trumped by an existing contract, an existing tournament that pushed them off to streaming on golfchannel.com for the first, I don't know, what was it in real time, Tom? 20 minutes?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that, 15 minutes. But then they started rubbing it in and they lingered on the trophy, or they lingered on post-round interviews. You're already into it. The moment that final putt drops, you better kick to the women as fast as you can. Like, Golf Channel, shame on you. If you knew you had it coming, which you did down the stretch, that split screen at the very least should have been up the entire time. I'm sick of it. And I hope everyone else should be as mad that the best women on the planet got put a backseat to a bunch of has-been men. Period. That's my rant.
So, like you said, and we've mentioned, this all probably comes back to contractual obligations. And yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, first off, I didn't know that the senior LPGA players ride golf carts. Is that like a normal
senior
thing?
PGA? Yeah. Senior PGA tours. Yes, they're in golf carts. It's even more embarrassing.
Yeah. So I was a little bummed that we had to watch that. And yes, as soon as that last putt is sunk, we go, okay, cool. Can we at least split screen it, right? Like, I'm sure that Cologuard wants to have their name plastered like behind the Alker when he wins, and he can hold up his I don't know, box trophy for Cologuard. I don't know what it ended up being.
It was a helmet.
A helmet?
Like a metal helmet.
It should be a box.
I like your reasoning.
If you know anything,
we're already giving them too much oxygen on this.
Okay, sorry, we won't talk about that.
No, that's my point.
Got it. Yeah, they would occasionally cut into the split screen, but like you said, it was one hole. It was done pretty quickly. We can watch them hit. We don't need to watch them drive away. I should never know that they drive golf carts. Just hit the ball and then split screen it if you have to. Let's watch the LPGA, and then when they're getting ready to hit again, if you need to go back to the one box, that's totally fine.
And look, in a future episode, we will break down how broadcast works for the LPGA because they are very much a beneficiary of the PGA Tour's master broadcast deal. The LPGA is kind of a throw-in, and I don't mean that flippantly. It quite literally is a throw-in, which I think is very telling. But if we want to talk about contractual obligations and how Cologuard and the senior tour need to make good, guess who didn't get their full run on air today? Fortinet, the title sponsor of the Founders, did not get their full 3 final round coverage. This isn't Thursday or Friday when no one's watching. This is Sunday afternoon, final round, and the most popular golfer in the world is chasing down the leader. You think Fortinet's going to be happy on Monday? My Lord, man. I don't even know where to start with that or end with that because I've already ranted. But so yeah, that was the end. That was entree to this final round, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of what happened. But I'm curious, Tom, anything you notice from a broadcast perspective? I know you don't have a ton of comparative points of last year versus this year, but this was the first full broadcast back in the States where they had access to all the new bells and whistles they've been taunting, or not taunting, they've been touting over the last 3 months or so. Anything stick out to you from a coverage perspective?
So I didn't have the audio on. I'll admit to that. I was catching up with my wife. She was
Sure.
out of town for a few days. I liked a few of the camera shots that we saw. Like there were some drone shots. There was a few really nice close-ups of somebody putting, and you could see it from different angles, the ball going into the hole and actually like looking at kind of seeing some reads. There was one shot in particular that I thought was kind of funny. There seemed to be a cameraman who, like, those scoreboards that the I don't know what you would call them, like the attendees walk around with.
Standard bearer, yeah.
Thank you. There was like a hole missing, and then the cameraman put the camera through that hole and kind of lingered on Nelly for a bit while she teed off, and then they would zoom out and you go, oh, that's what that was. And I go, you know what? Trying something new. Why not? Let's get weird with it.
Take some swings.
Exactly. So that was cool. I mean, it seemed like a normal PGA broadcast in the best sense of the way, like the best way. It was pretty seamless. They would cut to the booth occasionally. When you and I were watching on Friday, they were interviewing Gabby Lopez in the booth, which you were very excited about. You were saying that this is something that they've been pushing for, and she was a top 5 at the time, I believe. Yeah. So good get. I'm cool that they were able to make that happen.
Yeah, they did a lot of booth interviews. So they had a couple of so again, this event, the Founders, honors the first 13 women that started the LPGA back in 1950, most of which, or maybe all of which, have passed now. But so they kind of have this new term they're using of pioneers, women that were kind of the bridge between the Founders and current generation. So these are kind of the names you and I would have known when we were a lot younger. Julie Inkster, Meg Mallon. So Meg and Julie both made their way to the booth over the course of the week, commenting about the Founders and what they meant to their journey, kind of as mentors, their mentorship. So they did do a nice job. Grant Boone and Morgan Pressel were the in booth talent that were handling all the interviews. Did a really nice job. I really liked Meg's interview. Back to your point about drones, they had a really cool shot they were doing behind a player in the fairway, looking at the green from behind them, that they would start the drone low and then they would pan up, and all of a sudden you would see all this undulation in the fairway, and you would get a really good idea of what their shot looked, as opposed to like a static cam that has no depth perception to it. They did it a lot of times. And I think what stood out to me, I forget a lot how much the course look matters to the broadcast. Sharon Heights showed out. That place looked amazing. It played hard. The scores were not astronomical. You could tell the women were being challenged every step of the way. But those drone shots only look good if it's a beautiful course, and that course really had some cool rugged edges to the sand traps. Everything about that course looked amazing, which only makes the broadcast that much better. Which, if you zoom out and you think back to when Craig Kessler came on as commissioner, he said what his priorities and what his pillars were. It's kind of it's purses, it's courses, it's broadcast, and elevating the courses are only going to elevate the broadcast, not just from number of people wanting to tune in because they recognize the course, but because the beauty that they're seeing on the broadcast. So if they keep bringing in drones and mics and additional cameras and they're going to good courses, these things are going to kind of pile on to one another and hopefully create some momentum for them. So when the women go out there and do what they do, and we have maybe a little bit better golf down the stretch than we did this weekend, they're going to start having some content to push out that hopefully breaks the barrier of just LPGA fans. But really liked some of those broadcast enhancements. Again, notwithstanding the horrific intro being covered by the men's event. So I mentioned Hyo Joo started the day with a 5-shot lead. That lead was gone after 10 holes. It was really tough down the stretch. Neither Nelly nor Hyo Joo went and got it. Hyo Joo made a really bad bogey on 15. Nelly is now right there, and she misses. They get to 17. I think at the time, Hyo Joo's got a 1-shot lead.
Yep.
Nelly misses a 2.5-foot putt for par to give the shot right back that Hyo Joo had gifted her on 15. And it was a really interesting back and forth because on 17, Hyo Joo misses the green and has a nasty lie in the rough that they're saying, hey, she's going to walk away with bogey. She's not getting this up and down. She steps up and hits it to about 3-4 feet, saves par, and then Nelly, after her birdie putt misses the shorty par putt to give her a stroke. So now Hyo Joo's got a 2-shot lead going into 18, which is a par 5, which usually means we're going to see some birdies and hopefully attempts at eagles. They both missed the fairway on 18, which immediately means you're not going for it. Both had to play the fairway and then get there. Hyo Joo ends up bogeying the hole, so it ends up looking like a 1-shot lead or a 1-shot win. So she needed every one of those strokes that she started the day with. Nelly just didn't play great down the stretch. And as much as I think people may bash on Nelly for Sunday, I walk away saying this woman has played twice this year, and she has a first and a second place under her belt. And if she had, over the tournament, she played great. But today I would say yesterday she had her maybe B- game.
Yeah.
And you're finishing second and you almost chase down of starting the day a 5-shot lead. There's positive. I know she's going to beat herself up about that shorty on 17, right? But you can't be that upset about 2 tournaments, a first and a second, with a 4-week break in between.
Yeah, especially getting so hot at the front 9 yesterday. I wonder, if I haven't seen any interviews with her or anything about that, but I wonder if she is trying to purposely manage her workload coming off injury. She probably wants to take it a little easy, not going to come super hot out of the gates playing in, every other event or anything like that, kind of, ramping up to the full season, to the major season. So good on her for that. I probably gave her the kiss of death when I texted you, and once Hyo Joo gave up that lead, I texted you and I said, Nelly's got this or something like that. And you're like, nah, I'm sticking with Hyo Joo. And, so pour one out for my Titan, Nelly, but, I can't be too upset with a second place finish.
Not absolutely, and you're right. Nelly famously does not play the first Asian swing. She does not, and I think every now and then she might have contractual obligations, like once every 3 or 4 years she has to go out there. This was not one of those years. So yeah, she definitely ramps up for major season. So the Chevron in April is where she's going to start playing. So a little bit more about Hyo Joo here. This moves her to number 4 in the world. She was number 8 last week. So that win catapults her into the top 5. Hyo Joo's 30 years old. This is her 8th career LPGA victory, but she also has 14 wins on the KLPGA, the Korean LPGA. Hyo Joo is Korean-born, Korean speaker, does all of her interviews and post-round interviews in Korean with an interpreter. Pretty to the point in her post-round pressers. She seemed to be very, very focused on herself yesterday based on her interviews. She said it wasn't really leaderboard watching, and she had Nelly in her group, so she knew exactly what Nelly was doing. But she wasn't really proud of the golf she played yesterday, and I don't think she loved that she blew a 5-shot lead. But I think she knows that's golf, and from what it sounded like, she said, hey, I'll take it. I don't care how I get it done. It's just that I got it done. And a really interesting piece of momentum for her as she heads to the Ford Championship this week in Phoenix, where she is the defending champion from last year. So if you're still waffling on picks, Hyo Joo is definitely someone worth consideration after coming off a win. Although I can't remember the last time someone went back to back. It probably dates back to Nelly's crazy 7 win. I assume she won back-to-back during that stretch. So really good week for Hyo Joo. Nelly, not always lost. I don't know if you saw this, Tom, but while Nelly did lose, Korda did win a really big match on Sunday. Sebastian Korda, her younger brother, beat Carlos Alcaraz in the Miami Open, #1 player in the world. So Nelly's going to probably come home to her phone blowing up and sending congratulations to one of her siblings, not Jess Korda, her sister, who's also a golfer, but her younger brother, who is quickly becoming, maybe fulfilling some talent people have seen with him long term. So congrats to Sebastian Korda. Again, just what a crazy athletic family. 2 professional female golfers and male tennis player.
No, I definitely didn't see that. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I feel like every single time I watch Carlos Alcaraz play tennis, I just go like, I don't ever see this guy losing. I mean, I don't remember a time ever watching him lose. So, yeah, that's pretty impressive. I have to imagine those, Thanksgiving dinners at the Korda household are pretty intense. Let's sit in on a game night or something.
For sure. A couple other notables. You remember last week at the Australian Open, Cassie Porter shot a crazy 10 or 11 under. She backed it up this week and shot another. I think she shot the round of the day on Sunday. So she's playing some good golf. Someone to keep an eye on this year. Really disappointing Sundays for Gino, Haejin Choi, Gabby Lopez, all were in contention to start the day, and they shot over par on a day where some people were going low. Again, there were some 65s and 66s out there, and certainly 68s, and they were going the wrong direction. So tough Sunday for them. Lottie, I feel like this is the third week in 5 weeks that I've said she was under the radar, but somehow finishes top 15. She had another really low Sunday. So Lottie continues to clean up on Sundays. I would venture, I have nothing to back this up, but at least anecdotally, Lottie has to have one of the best Sunday round averages right now out there. And then, man, just a friend of the pod, I texted you this. Man, Haley Cooper was playing such good golf, really steady the first 2 days. She goes into the final 2 holes, I believe, 2 clear of the cut line, and she bogeys 17 to be inside the cut line by 1 or 2. And so all she has to do is par 5, and she gets a quad to miss the cut by 2 or 3. I was so pumped for her to make her first cut officially as a rookie, but was not to be. The rookies got blown out to sea this week, dude. Yeah. If you go down the line, Riley Smythe, Yana Wilson, all the people that did well last week didn't make it. There were not many rookies out there, with the exception of Carla Tejeda Mulet, who finished top 5. There was not a whole lot of rookies that were walking the grounds on Saturday, Sunday. Let's put it that way. But super fun tournament. The last thing I'll say, and this happened on both tours. The pace of play, Tom. This might have to be the last time I say this on here because it's just becoming a weekly thing. Was brutal. Hyo Joo Kim, right when the Steven Ulker thing ended and we finally got LPGA coverage within about 10 minutes, Hyo Joo was on the 12th tee for what felt like an eternity, just standing there. She's got her umbrella up. Earlier in the week, Gabby Lopez was standing on tee so long she redid her hair 3 times. It's absurd how long this is taking. And on the weekend, when there's already been a cut, we should not be waiting this long. It is nuts how long it's taking. I don't know what more they can do. They've already a year and a half ago instituted some pace of play penalties. It obviously isn't working. You can't. I already just complained a ton about making sure women get their window of time on broadcast. We can't come into broadcast and have cameras on people just standing around waiting. We got to play faster, levy the penalties. I don't know what it takes, but it's got to get figured out. The only reason I'm bringing it up is it was a giant story in the men's game this week. Matt Fitzpatrick won the Valspar this week, but he played with Adrian Demont Deschart, and it got so bad that Matt Fitzpatrick complained directly to a rules official about his playing partner in the round, which never happens. And it was
in front of him.
Oh yeah, it got rough. They were waiting even longer than the women. It was absurd. So come on, men and women, let's clean this up. If you want your product to be awesome and want people in the general sports world to care about your sports, let's not have the broadcast windows be just showing you guys standing on tee boxes with your hands on your hips. So that's all I got. It's time to turn over to you because we had some picks this week.
We sure did, Mark. I believe the streak is over.
The streak is over.
Gino finished T10 Angel Yin, T19. Angel kind of made a bit of a run. After Friday, I thought she might be cut, or leading in Friday, I thought she had a chance to get cut. She ended up kind of picking up a little bit of momentum toward the end of her round, so she made the cut, finished the weekend. That's my first one of the season, which is kind of depressing.
We haven't played that many. There's only been like 5 tournaments. That's not crazy.
I will say my team is on fire.
Are they?
I had 3 top 5s this week with Nelly, Minji Lee, and Miyu Yamashita. So that's good. I mean, I'm
Miyu
good.
finished top 5?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw a single shot of hers.
I kind of thought the same thing. When I was looking at the leaderboard this morning, I said, I watched the entire Sunday. I feel like I probably would have seen her somewhere, but I think it was just a big list of T5. One thing leading into my pick for this week that kind of scared me, because I was thinking Hyo Joo Kim, but you got in my head because you told me, you said, remember how we were talking about Yalimi No being the defending champ going into the Founders Cup? And you told me she finished dead last on Friday, correct?
She did not play well. Yeah, she missed the cut. Yeah, she was in the bottom last 5 or 6 people for sure.
And you were telling me she has a lot of stuff to do. She has, a lot of engagements. She needs to go talk and kind of like be the ambassador for the tournament.
Yeah.
So now I'm not going with Hyo Joo Kim. So
I understand what you're saying. There's a giant difference there. So the reason I said not to pick Yalimi, number one, is she was the defending champ for a course in Florida.
A different course. Yes.
As opposed to, and on top of that, because she's the defending champ, she has some obligations. On top of that, she is from East Bay, where all of her family are. So all of those things, like mind was going to be hard to dedicate to golf this week for Yalimi. I didn't think she was going to get just obliterated on the course, but I don't think that will be the case for Hyo Joo. I'll say now I am not picking Hyo Joo, but I'd put money on a top 10 for Hyo Joo right now. If I was a betting man, that would be the first bet I place this week is a top 10 for Hyo Joo.
Well, I get the first pick, so maybe
that's right. Either way, Hyo Joo's yours if you want her. I'm just getting in your head already. But yeah, Angel, you're right. Angel had a good weekend. She got 68-70. She got really close, but the 12th hole, she doubled yesterday to put her back down. That's the difference between being ahead and being behind Gino. Gino and Angel were tied with 1 hole to go, which we have been in this position before with our picks tied with 1 hole to go for your player. And earlier this year, Lydia bogeyed the final hole going into a par 5. I was a little nervous, and Gino did what she was supposed to do as the number 1 player in the world, get that birdie on 18, cash that check, and get you your first pick of the year. So congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. You know what? I am going with Hyo Joo Kim. I'm putting it out now.
Are you putting your pick now?
Let's do it now.
Okay, well, I'm going to holster my pick, but I'm glad that you're doing it. I'll give you some time. I won't make you lock it in case anything we are about to talk about changes your mind, because there may be some stuff. Outside of the LPGA this week, Hannah Green won again. So you'll remember, Hannah won in Singapore, then Hannah won the Australian Open, and then this weekend she won the Australian WPGA. So this is the Australian LPGA contingent has their own Australia-centric league, which Hannah plays regularly, as do some of her Aussie counterparts. That's 3 starts, 3 wins for Hannah. And this is a 4-shot win out at Sanctuary Cove in I can't remember what part of Australia they were in. Hannah's playing really good golf, and someone that, as a major winner, someone who I've got my attention on as we go into major season. And certainly we may have just missed our window on picking Hannah Green as a winner at some point. She just won 3-3, went 3 for 3. Yeah. But someone who, if we're going pick to pick week by week, we may want to keep Hannah on our short list. Rose Zhang, again, a Bay Area native. She goes to Stanford. She finished her final paper this week on Thursday, opening round. She submitted her final paper, which was about brewing. That was her final paper. Ooh. So I watched an interview with her, and she said her objective going into her final semester was to avoid classes with finals at all costs, just because finals take up so much more time, and hopefully she could write papers at her own speed. As of Tuesday, before the tournament, she had not yet submitted her final paper due Thursday and had not started it. Procrastinator. Tom, makes me wonder, were you a get-ahead or a procrastinator?
No. It's very weird. I've done a complete 180 on this. I used to definitely be a procrastinator. I'm actually looking at my I'm looking at my tax documents now. I guess I still am a bit of a procrastinator. Haven't done my taxes yet, but now I mean I plan things so far out. I knock
Yes, you
things
do.
out. Yeah, I don't know what clicked in my mind, but all of a sudden like yeah, I'm no longer a procrastinator. I like preach this to my kids like do not procrastinate. You need to make sure you're getting ahead of things. I make them do their entire week's worth of homework on Monday, so then they can just kind of be freed up for the rest of the week. Yeah, but when I was in high school and college, procrastination was the name of the game for me.
I think kids had a big piece of that, or a big piece of that for you, because if you and I want to plan something, you're asking our buddies like 4 months from now, are you guys free on this Wednesday? Like you with so many sports commitments and everything else, I think you almost, whether you wanted it to or not, you had to be broken of the procrastinating habit just because you got so much going on in your world.
Yes, which is why I kind of like playing like more prestigious and higher end golf courses because I can book a tee time. You know, I can book an Erin Hills tee time for September right now if I wanted to. I would need to find a separate job to be able to afford something like that. But my point is, you know, for a local, like for a municipal or just like an executive around here, you need 7 days out. Like I can't book something 7 days out. I'm booked 90 days out already.
I'm already trying to figure out who to play golf with next weekend since you can't play with me. I'm buzzing on golf right now. But yeah, Rose will graduate in June. That's when she walks. But it sounds like we're about to get full-time Rose, which we've not seen yet. Really curious to see what her diving into the deep end and being all LPGA looks like for her golf game. In a future episode, I flagged this a couple weeks ago during the Players Championship week for the PGA Tour. Brian Rolapp, the CEO, came out with really what their vision is for the coming years of kind of enhancing the competition and making sure they've got the right schedule and the right courses and all of that. We will react to that in a future episode just because I think there's a lot of important things in there that A, the LPGA should be looking at, but B, probably impact the LPGA. So I'll be curious to see. We will get into that in more future detail for sure.
Can we do one of those for us too?
What's that?
Our next 3-year plan looks like?
Our fringe coverage vision plan?
Yeah.
As long as it involves buying a camera just to follow you play golf until you break 80. That's what I want this to be. It's just you breaking 80. Because it's going to happen.
It's going to be a passion project of yours. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so previewing this week, we mentioned we're going to the Ford Championship presented by Wild Horse. This is only the third year of this tournament. And Tom, really interesting. Year 1, Nelly won it. Year 2, Hyo Joo won it. So this weekend's final pairing, we have some pretty good horse history here. So again, as you look to make picks, certainly two safe people that also are coming into the tournament with some pretty good form. Hyo Joo won in a playoff last year over Lilia Vu, maybe the last Lilia Vu sighting we had in any time recently. She shot a final round 64. So this is more of those go low courses. So if there's any birdie candidates out there, Tom, those are really good people to choose this week. All the big dogs are in the field. Charlie will be in the field. Again, remember there were a few that were not in this past week's field at the Founders. Charlie is back for this one.
30-year-old Charlie. Happy birthday to Charlie.
Happy birthday,
Friend
Charlie.
of the pod.
30. She and Hyo Joo are the same age. Charlie just turned 30.
Did you see she had a smoking section at her? She had a big birthday party with a smoking section.
I did see that. I loved with the photo of her ripping a dart. Yeah, love that. I wonder if she did that or someone who threw her birthday party did that on her behalf. Yeah. Windows to watch, again, they're the same for all 4 days. This is March 26th through 29th. And we should say this is at Whirlwind Golf Club in Phoenix. So Thursday through Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. local time here on the West Coast on Golf Channel streaming, and then 4 to 6 p.m. live on Golf Channel. So only a 2-hour watch window live. Again, those kind of late afternoons have been working for me from a watching perspective. I do love the West Coast swing for that. So without further ado, Tom, you mentioned you're thinking about Hyo Joo Kim. This is your chance to go first. Do you have a final answer for me of trying to make it a 2-week winning streak?
I kind of feel like I have to go with her. I mean, she played well this week. She's the defending champ, has the course knowledge. Yeah, let's go with Hyo Joo Kim.
I love it. I am also picking a Kim. I'm picking Se Young this week.
Okay.
So Se Young, I mentioned going low is going to matter this week. Se Young has birdies in bunches. Tom, do you know she finished T3 this week?
No.
Again, another person whose game I did not get to see. She shot 66, 67 on the weekend. So talk about trending the right direction, playing really well, has played well. I think her worst finish in these 2 years of the tournament have been a top tied for 22nd. So I like Se Young to continue her good play and take down Hyo Joo. So it's a battle of the Kims this week between you and I.
Since we got to spend some time together, usually anytime we hang out together, the conversations end up just, going all over the place. We always joke that it's kind of fun to look at our Wikipedia history after we talk and, someone's looking up Corliss Williamson or someone is trying to figure out, where Shaka Smart coaches now or something like that. It's just
a bunch of nostalgia search history. Yeah.
Yeah, just literally guys naming dudes. That's what we usually end up doing.
Yep.
One of the things that was brought up was unwritten rules of sports. And one of the examples that was given was a while ago, about, 5-10 years ago, you, Mark, were playing tennis with our friend Joel. And Joel decided to catch you off guard with an underhand serve. And according to Joel, I wasn't there, only you were, you became incensed, enraged. He said you stopped playing tennis. I don't know if you were expecting him to reserve or apologize or do that thing in tennis where you throw your hands up after you hit the net and it still goes in. I don't know what you wanted from him, but you basically were saying that what he did was Bush League, right? It wasn't the right way to go about doing things. So what I want from you, you can rebut in a bit. I want to know what you think is considered unwritten rules of sports. So I'm going to give you 5 examples, and I want to hear what you think of these scenarios. Are you good with this?
Yeah. Before we do that,
please.
I have no objection to the recounting of the story. And at this past weekend, we did go into it in great detail. It was interesting talking with you three about it, because I think I gained some clarity on why the reaction, right? And I think where we netted out on it was, for me, there was a huge difference between professional competitive sports and recreational. So in this case, tennis. There's a couple professional men's players who have infamously done this, Nick Kyrgios and even Gael Monfils. They'll do it to catch their guys off guard. They're playing for tons of money, and anything you can do to win a point, they do it. My objection was, what are we doing? We're out here on a Saturday morning, and this is where my lack of competitive juices is kind of oddly they kind of contradict one another. I feel like there is we're out here winning and losing doesn't matter here. We're out here on a Saturday morning. We're just trying to be active and all of that stuff. So what are we doing dinker serves? And yet my reaction makes it look like I'm incredibly competitive. I was not upset that I lost the point. What I'm upset about is, what are we doing here? Why are we doing underhand serves? And I think I realized in my head, there is a huge difference between professional competitive sports versus what I do on a weekend. And I say that more as a preface for whatever it is you're about to tee up here, is that might jade the lens in which I'm looking at this, of whether it's at the professional level or at our level. Because I'm not sure what sports we're going into here. But yeah, it pissed me off to no end that day that he was pulling out a little underhand serve to try to catch me off guard and basically make sure there's going to be no rally.
I totally get where you're coming from. As mentioned here, I coach a little league team. I will occasionally step in and help my wife coach our daughter's softball team. And during youth events, baseball and softball particularly, there is constant chanting from the dugout, which for the most part is fun, and it keeps the kids engaged, right? So if a pitch is thrown in the dirt, the kids chant, "That's low, that's low, that's where the wormies go." And if the ball is high, that's high, that's where the birdies fly, right? It's fun stuff. I get verbally upset with my dugout if they chant that while the pitcher is pitching. I put my hands up and I said, "Time up," and I turned to my team and I said, "We do not do this while he's pitching." I would love to win as much as anybody else, but I don't want to win like that, right? We're not here to distract people. So all this to say, the examples I'm going to ask you, I'd like for you to if there is a difference between this being done in the professional level or if this is being done like in an adult sports league or a kids league, okay? Swinging on a 3-0 count when up by 10 runs. How do you feel about that?
Don't like it.
Okay. Does that matter pros or let's just call it amateur?
No. I mean, look, if it's another ball, it's just another base runner, which could make the score worse. So, I mean, from a results perspective, I'm not sure, like, metrics-wise, whether that's a smart answer. But yeah, it bothers me. I mean, especially at the youth level. Like, at that point, no one benefits from an additional drubbing, because at that point, it is a drubbing, right? Like, you're getting crushed already. But yeah, I think either way, that one bugs me.
On Tuesday, my wife's softball team was just like demolishing their opponent, and my wife was sending the base runners, and I go, like, why are you sending the base runners? She goes, no, honey, the quicker we score our max runs, the quicker we can end the game. Like,
so it's a mercy play.
I'm doing it for their sake. I said, oh, you're so kind. That's very nice.
Now, if you want to squint, the one exception I would make is if it's the last player off your bench who never gets to play and they get a chance to swing the bat, I'm fine with it.
Sure, yeah. A hook and ladder play in Pee Wee football.
Never thought about this one before.
Or a flea flicker. How about that?
Is this an unwritten thing that you don't do it? This is news to me.
No, definitely not an unwritten thing. I think it's just kind of like you're trying to trick your opponent, right? It's not just like we're running the ball up the gut. I formulated a play.
I love it. I think it's fun, especially for that level. Like, that's such a fun thing as a kid to get to try to execute. More, I mean, how often are they even gonna? A flea flicker is very different than hook and ladder. Hook and ladder is more like the desperation end of game thing versus the flea flicker, which is like a play. I think it's sweet. And again, as long as it's like formal competition, even if it's at the youth league, as long as it's not out of bounds, which we may get to that definition, but I'm okay with it.
Okay. I would love that. If a team could execute that, especially if we're talking like a 10-year-old, I mean, yeah, let's go. What about a hidden ball trick in an adult softball league?
This is a good one.
And
this is a really good one.
So while you think, I'll just explain a hidden ball trick.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a runner on first, and the pitcher tries to pick off the runner at first base. The runner dives back to first, and then the first baseman will, do a fake throw back to the pitcher and kind of hide the ball behind his or her back, and then the runner takes the lead, and then the first baseman tags the runner out. All deception. Made popular in the movie Little Big League.
The what should be Oscar-winning, most amazing baseball movie.
Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, the greatest baseball player of our childhood.
Best baseball player cameo of all time.
Yeah,
in a movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Ooh,
turning a fan favorite into a villain is just incredible work by that director.
So if we are putting all of these on a scale of how much do I even have to debate it versus do I have a visceral reaction? I'm not sure what the actual scale is here. I try to put myself in the position of the team that it's going to happen to. I don't know if that's the right way to do this, but it is the way my brain works. Otherwise, I like to play the victim, I guess, is the way I'm saying that. This bugs me. I think it's awesome in MLB. If MLB, again, they get paid. First of all, the runners get paid to know that play exists. And if a fielder can pull that off, and again, you'll see a highlight like once every couple years, someone pulls it off at some level, college ball, whatever, I'm fine. Adult softball league, I kind of have the exact same sentence come to mind that I said about the tennis situations. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we trying to do that? Like, that maybe is the definition of Bush League to me. Of like, no one is out here to try to like do trick plays in softball. Like, baseball is a pretty straight up sport. I feel like any type of like overt illusion or deception feels out of bounds.
Yeah. Both of my kids play travel ball, and one of the things that their coaches have told them is if someone tries to pick you off, literally the entire dugout will chant ball, 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 ball until the baseman returns the ball to the pitcher. Then they go pitcher. So then Also, you have paid coaches who are presumably your first and third base coaches who should also be telling you, do not leave the bag until the ball is returned to the pitcher. So
Yeah, no offense. I'd rather listen to your first base coach than rely on the 9-year-old yelling at me from the dugout.
again, it's just keeping them engaged. Okay, we got two more, Mark. So this happened to a friend of mine when I was much, much younger. There was an inbounds play in a basketball game.
Okay.
And one of the 5 opponents dropped to all fours and started barking like a dog.
What?
Which then distracted the team. Clear inbounds, make a basket. So
Okay, hold on. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
What age?
this was probably, I would say, 10 years old.
And is this school ball, like rec ball?
Stagecoach rec.
For the listeners, that's just a general park league. What? Wow. I didn't see us going here today.
Yeah.
I've got an interesting comp at a more competitive level. So are we to believe that the coach taught them this?
I would think so.
Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
If you're working on this play,
What happened to teaching fundamentals? No.
Yeah.
I mean, as a fan, I'd probably pee my pants laughing. But absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, if we're on the golf course, Tom, and one of our buddies drops on all fours while you're swinging, that's the funniest thing of all time. I kind of want one of us to do that now.
So I purposely chose to not have anything during golf that would be distracting, right? Like while you're teeing off, I'm not going to stand in your sight line and start dancing because that's distracting you. That's a solo game, right? I feel like that's a little bit different. I think that's Bush League. Yelling in your backswing, I would never do something like that. This is a different situation. My question to you, Marc, if your daughter came home and said, "Dad, guess what? Guess what Coach Mike taught me today? He says I get to go to be the one that gets to bark during the inbounds play." Would you be proud? Or would you say, "Cool, yeah, that's really cool"?
Well, pride would definitely not be the adjective.
Yeah.
The question is whether I would do anything about it or just be like, well, she's excited about it and let her go be the dog. Man, I might talk to Coach the next practice about that. Might be one of the few times I have a talking to with the coach because normally I'd want to be pretty hands off on that stuff. But my daughter's being told to get on all fours to bark like a dog. We might not be teaching what I was hoping to get out of it. Yeah. I will say, so years ago at a college football bowl game, Boise State was playing in San Diego. And the opening kickoff, this was the year before or after Boise State had their crazy Fiesta Bowl run. So this is the Ian Johnson team, the whole Statue of Liberty team. So Ian Johnson is one of the 2 kick returners. And opening kickoff, I want to say this is against TCU. Anyways, ball gets kicked. Guy fields it on his goal line, kind of far sideline. He takes 2 steps forward and all the kicking team is beelining for him. And all of a sudden you see him turn 90 degrees to the other side of the field and throws an overhand lateral to a guy who has just appeared out of nowhere. Ian Johnson was on the far side of the field laying on his stomach as if he wasn't a player to try to have no one see him. And then once the ball was kicked, he stood up and they threw it to him. And they probably got a good 20 extra yards out of the return because the players had to reverse course and go over there. It was a very odd thing to see live. I was on the field for it and did not know what was happening or why there was someone on that side of the field. But I remember thinking, man, this feels a little weird. It didn't bug me. Certainly not to the degree of complaining about it, but I was like, this just feels like an odd football play.
It's cool to see, and you'll send it to your friends on Instagram, whatever. Like, it just doesn't seem like football, right? It doesn't seem right. Are you familiar with Jose Alvarado, the basketball player, who will he makes a layup and then he'll hide underneath the hoop during the inbounding, and then
it must be so annoying to play against.
Right. But the nickname Grand Theft Alvarado is pretty awesome.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Bunting to break up a no-hitter or a perfect game in the 9th inning.
This is a context question. This will be the first one that I ask for context. What's the score of the game?
4-0.
Absolutely. You need base runners. If this game's 10-0, then now, tell you what, regardless.
Let's go 2 outs.
You still need base runners. You're still like a couple walks and a swing away from a tie game. So, I mean, this happened. You and I, as Padres fans, can remember well. Ben Davis broke up. Was it a Kurt Schilling game? Or he attempted to bunt? Yeah, I could see why a pitcher would hate this. I could see why the teammates of said pitcher would hate this. Any team that is playing competitive baseball, as a fan, I don't want to see my team roll over and say, "Oh yeah, we just wanted to give him the no-hitter." What are we doing? But
this is Brett Favre taking a dive for Michael Strahan to get the sack record. Not right. What we're here for.
I mean, if we are getting paid the millions of dollars as pitchers and hitters, that hitter's job is to get on base. And yeah, there are times where it just looks really bad. I'm never going to be incensed by it.
Okay.
How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, you're probably right. It's not something that you want to see from an opponent. I mean, it's a great way to make just like an all-time villain or an all-time rival. Like if you break up a no-hitter like that, I mean, you don't feel good about it as the runner, but the fans will really like you for doing it.
Yeah, you know what you're doing when you square, for sure.
But you better get that bunt down. You better at least be successful about it. Because what you don't want is you don't want to be in the highlight reel of that pitcher's career of you doing a sack bunt and it goes right back to him and he just tosses you out so casually. I mean, that'd be
that's interesting. It's funny. I thought you were going to say something else. You better make contact, because if you don't, and that's the first or second pitch of the at bat, the next one's coming between your ears.
Oh, interesting.
If I got a no hitter going and I got a pitch or two to spare and you're coming around, I'm throwing it. Now I know you're squaring. If you step into it, that's on you. Like, I might buzz the tower on that one.
All right.
Because, again, I think it's fair game for the batter, but it's fair game for the pitcher to remind you, I have the control here, really, of your livelihood.
Would you assume that there are adult softball pitchers who like keep track of perfect games that they've thrown? There must be, right?
Oh, there must be. We probably know a few.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me, man.
That was fun.
One last shout out. I mean, we talked hook and ladder and Boise State. Shout out to Jared Zabransky. I mean, you can't say hook and ladder and Boise State without at least mentioning him.
Was that the quarterback?
Yeah, man. Cover of NCAA 08.
Jeez.
Fun team. Blue turf and everything. All right. I'm good, Mark. Anything else for you?
No, play us out, man.
All right, man. If you got suggestions for players or topics to discuss on this podcast, send an email to fringecoverage@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Instagram at FringeCoveragePod. And whether you're approaching from the fairway or the rough, we got you covered inside the Fringe.